She sent the message at 11:47 p.m. A single line. Casual. Sharp. Designed to sting just enough to make me react. If you really don't like how I live my life, then just leave. No emoji, no hesitation, just that. I stared at the words glowing on my screen, the blue light painting my hands in a color that didn't feel like mine anymore. She was already out, music thundering behind her voice notes, her laughter overlapping with a deeper, masculine echo. Her best friend, the one she swore was basically a brother, the one she dressed differently for, looser hair, darker lipstick, perfume she never wore with me. Somewhere in the background of the last voice note, he called her name. Not the polite version, the intimate one. The one reserved for people who know where you keep your secrets. And she laughed, low, soft, dangerous. I sat on the edge of our bed, the sheets still warm where she'd been sitting earlier, legs crossed, eyes unfocused, already mentally somewhere else. She'd said she needed a night to breathe. I didn't argue. I'd learned not to interrupt her freedom when she wanted to feel less tied down. But the message changed something, not because of the words, because of how easy they seemed for her to send. As if she'd rehearsed them, as if she didn't expect me to do anything but sulk in silence, wait for her, wait for the fight she'd come home ready to win. Instead, I placed the phone face down on the mattress and stood up. Something inside me, quiet until now, clicked into place, a lock turning, a door opening, or maybe closing. The signs hadn't started tonight. They'd been whispering for months. Late-night study sessions, weekend errands that ended with her hair tousled and her makeup freshened. Pictures where she swore her phone was on a timer, yet the angles said otherwise. But I ignored it, not out of trust, out of self-preservation. Acknowledging betrayal is like inhaling smoke. You pretend it doesn't choke you if you breathe slowly enough. Her male best friend had become a constant background hum, a shadow she didn't bother hiding anymore. She talked about him with a softness she never used on me. A subtle shift in tone, a brightness in her eyes I couldn't access. And every time I noticed, she'd flip it back onto me. You're insecure. You're imagining things. He's just a friend. You always overreact. I stopped reacting. That was my mistake. Silence, to people like her, looks like permission. Tonight, though, the truth finally stood still long enough for me to see it clearly. The way she pulled away from my touch earlier. The way her phone lit up with his name before she even finished saying she was heading out. The way she smiled at her reflection, not at me. And then, of course, the message. Then, just leave. The words weren't a challenge, they were a dare. A test she didn't think I'd pass. Her arrogance was almost comforting. It told me exactly how invisible she believed I was. Invisible enough to betray quietly. Invisible enough to replace easily. Invisible enough to abandon without guilt. But she'd forgotten something. Even invisible people know how to move. I didn't pack angrily. Anger is loud, messy, predictable. I packed like someone finishing a job long overdue. Quiet, efficient, unstoppable. Every drawer opened like it had been waiting for this moment. My clothes folded themselves into the suitcase like they'd been planning their escape. The closet emptied with the indifference of a place that never belonged to me. I unplugged chargers, collected books, took my toothbrush and left hers untouched. I even wiped down the bathroom counter. I wanted no fingerprints in this life anymore. While the suitcase wheels clicked softly across the floor, I replayed every subtle detail she thought I hadn't noticed. Her sudden password change, the nights she slept facing away, the scent of cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her hair when she said she was with the girls. I checked the time, 12:39 a.m. She would be drunk by 1:15, emboldened by 2:00, ready to fight me by 3:00. Perfect. Before I zipped the suitcase, I placed one thing in the center, A single sheet of paper. Nothing dramatic, nothing emotional, just a line she had given me. Gift-wrapped irony. You're absolutely right. I don't like it at all. So, I left. Permanently. I placed it on her pillow, her side of the bed, the side she had turned into a stage for excuses. Then, I walked out. Not fast, not slow, just, finally. I was already in my car when the real reveal arrived. A photo, sent accidentally. Her. And him. Too close for any excuse to survive. Not a club selfie, a mirror picture. Taken before they left. In his room. Her hand on his chest. His chin on her shoulder. The kind of closeness that doesn't happen by accident. She tried to unsend it. Too late. She tried to call. I didn't answer. The truth wasn't surprising, just confirming. Everything in me went still, like a lake freezing over in an instant. No pain, no heartbreak, just clarity. When she finally stumbled through the door at 3:02 a.m., exactly when I knew she would, she found the emptiness waiting for her. The open closet, the bare shelves, the silence, and the note. Her gasp cracked the stillness, but not enough to matter. She tried calling again, 7 times. The 8th came with trembling breaths, mascara-smudged panic. "Where are you? What is this? Why? Why would you just leave?" There was no rage in her voice now, just fear. Not of losing me, of losing control. I answered calmly. "You told me to leave, so I did." "That was in anger. Why didn't you fight for us?" "Because you already chose someone to fight with." Silence. Then a broken whisper. "You saw the picture?" "Yes." More silence. Then she cracked completely. "I didn't mean, I wasn't. Please, just come home. We can talk. I swear it wasn't." "It doesn't matter anymore," I said, and meant it. "You made your choice. I just finally respected it." Her breath hitched, a small wounded sound. And for the first time, she realized she couldn't manipulate her way back. Not tonight, not ever. I ended the call before she could reshape the truth. The road was empty, quiet, wide, mine. I didn't look back. People say heartbreak feels like being torn open. This felt like being unshackled. Not freedom born from joy. Freedom born from ending something corrosive. She had expected a fight, tears, begging. Instead, she got the one thing she never prepared for. Me walking away without a single scratch left for her to feed on. By the time the sun began to rise, I felt strangely weightless. Not healed, not hopeful, just aware. Aware that sometimes the cleanest revenge is simply believing the person who tells you to leave, and leaving all the way. Some doors don't slam. They close quietly, permanently, and with your hand on the handle for the very last time.